David Baye here from MuscularDevelopment.com. I am here with Don Long. We're in Pittsburgh for the 2014 NPC Teen Collegiate and Masters National Championships. We just wrapped up the finals for men's bodybuilding. We still have men's physique going on. That could be another couple hours. Yeah. We wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about bodybuilding. Don, this is always a big show. Promoter Gary Udit does a fantastic job of putting this on. Treats the athletes first class all the way. Over 1,000 competitors are close to, so a huge show. Right now we want to talk a little bit about the bodybuilding. We'll start with the teens and collegiates. Really no surprises going into the teen class that Cody Montgomery was going to walk away a winner. Yeah. But going into the collegiate division, Cody's only 19, and when you jump into the collegiates, you're going up against guys in their early, even their mid-20s, some of the guys. So it's a pretty big jump, for as good as he is. It was close in the collegiates.
With the overall, it was pretty close. I mean, because I definitely could have saw I guess it was a taller guy in that same class that was pretty. He was a big guy, in that heavy. It was a heavyweight, is what they were. He was a big guy. But that Cody, I mean, I give him props. I mean, especially for how young he is, he's going to be a phenomenal bodybuilder. He's just so seasoned up there, and I mean, not necessarily with his condition, with his body, even though his body is well beyond his years, but his professionalism up there is very good. I was very impressed with that. Compared to, because I work with a lot of people, and he's just his poses and his confidence, his air is just really good. So I was very, because it's really my first time actually seeing him on stage. Other because the couple of, a lot of times with the teenage visits, I'm not really watching it that much, but it's the first time I actually saw him on stage, and I was very pleased, with his presentation and things like that. So
yeah, obviously, when you have somebody who's going for a three-peat and then also making history, being the only guy to ever win a teen and collegiate, it's easy to root for that guy. But this is the first time we've seen him pushed really hard, and like you said, I'm drawing a little bit of a blank on the names. I believe Alex Cook, maybe a kid who looked a little bit like he might have been closer to his mid-20s, and then that younger, taller guy who matched up really well with Cody. He had really good legs. He was, hams and glutes were dialed in. So, this is. So
when I saw them standing there, because when they came out, you just saw because Cody had already posed and stuff. You just saw him in the overall receiving the trophies together. And that guy, he really stood out too. He was a big guy. I was like, wow. But I didn't get to see the prejudgment of that for them actually comparing. So I don't know how that went down. But when I saw him standing receiving the trophies, I said, wow, it was a close call.
Yeah, he had to battle it out. But it was nice to see Cody get pushed a little bit. Last couple of years, kind of walked out. It was said and done. So it was good to see him get pushed. Moving into the open over 40, we'll start with there. Didn't see, at least from what I saw, I didn't see a lot of guys in the bantams and the lights or even the welters that I was really impressed with.
They actually didn't even have that many in the bantam and the light, and so I think they kind of pretty much went straight to the welters for the most part. But yeah, and then you had some good guys, but nothing like I said that really popped out. And it was only to the middleweights that we did start to see some action. So
and the middleweights, to me, and we talked about this earlier on in the morning, definitely some good middleweights. It was kind of an open and shut case in the 40 and with Coach Indecta. Did you see anybody really pushing him that hard?
It wasn't even close. I mean, just clearly right. But when you came back tonight, you just knew he had pretty much, that class just shut down. He was a phenomenal bodybuilder also. His condition, his skin was very thin. He was just really on today. His posing was good also, but he looked really good. So it wasn't even a question about that class,
Yeah, and the other guys we saw getting their pro cards in the over 40 are light heavyweight Milton Martinez. Yeah, he's one of your guys. Talk to us a little bit about prepping Milton for this show.
Yeah, I mean, it's just simply he's a warrior, because believe it or not, he's 46 years old, and of course he really don't look it at all.
Yeah, he doesn't look it at all.
So, but he's just such a hard worker. If I say it, he does it, and sometimes I can say that, but this guy just works so hard and just listen. I mean, I guess once again, when you're that age, you have that maturity where you just say, "What you tell me what to do, and I'm doing it." And then that's simply what he did this whole prep, because we started working together actually after the Nationals last year, because him and going to another story, him and Ryan Patarako, who I coached for the Nationals, are really good friends. And then me and Milton talked at the Nationals that year, and then from that point we've been working together and just kind of planning for this show, and then it's just nailed it, So yeah, so.
Now in our super heavyweight class, John Meadows, John is like he's like the underdog. Like everybody wants to win, but at the end of the day, the judges still have to take into consideration symmetry and aesthetics and stuff like that. So as much as we wanted to see John get the win, just didn't pull it out. And another John walk away with the winners in the super heavyweights, actually in the 40 and over 35 class. This guy was absolutely huge. Legs not quite as big as his upper body, but he came out and I mean, he's really a monster of a super heavyweight.
Exactly, but like you said, the upper body was just I mean, just phenomenal, and the legs, like I said, a tad smaller comparably speaking, but the condition on his hams and glutes and things was just nuts. So I saw that right from the start too, though. I mean, I don't even think they necessarily even put him in the center right away, but when they put him over there, it was just a done deal for that one too. So he was a big dude, you know, big dude, and like I said, great condition, you know.
Yeah, so you know, it was an interesting overall, definitely, because we had Coach Ndetta won his card in the over 40s, and they pulled him from the overall. Now, I don't know if Cole had some, you know, sometimes you just get worn down or something. Yeah. They actually pulled him from going back out in the over 35, and I don't know if it was because he won the overall is why he got pulled, because we saw Milton and we saw John go back out. So I'm, you know, with
I think the expediters were saying it was his actual choice. You know, okay. I think it was simply his choice, because in reality, Milton and John were pros too at that point, and they still both went out. So I think it was just a choice that he said, you know, let the other guy have a shot at it, I guess.
Okay.
I believe that's what happened, you know. So
yeah, and then when we went into the overall, or the over, or excuse me, over in the over 30 class, we had John, who won the over 40s, didn't take the overall, and I think John probably wanted to jump in because we knew he would have a shot at, you know, at the overall. Yeah. And then we had Mark Erpelding. He got first place in the heavyweights, and then our light heavyweight winner, Charles Lyons. Yeah, Chuck and John got the overall win in the super heavyweights. You know, it was one of those things where you know, Chuck looked really good in prejudging. You know, Mark was a tad off, so I was kind of interested to see how it was going to play out between Chuck and John. But John's size in that overall was just too much.
And the same thing, it comes down to, you know, condition. Chuck has, of course, just a phenomenal, you know, almost somewhat of a flex wheeler type body to a certain degree, of course, but the hard condition just wasn't totally there. Granted, and he can win, honestly, being, you know, say 90% is what he did here today. He was 90% because his shape is so good, he was able to win, you know. But another thing with John was telling me that this is only his second show. So he wanted the experience to go back out there, you know, regardless. So,
second, like national show or second show period? Oh, Jesus.
That's what I did. I said the same thing. I said, what do you mean second show? Yeah, so he said second show. So I'm sure he'll talk to you later about that too, yeah. So it's phenomenal, yeah.
Absolutely. So wrapping things up again in the over 40, we had Coach Ndetta, we had our John Anderson, and we had Milton Martinez. Now, I don't know what happened. We had to step off stage, do some interviews and stuff like that. So as much as I'd like to be able to give you guys the full breakdown of what happened, I'm not exactly sure, because if John got his pro card in the over 40s and he won the overall in the over 35, somebody that we don't know of yet is going to be walking away with the pro card. Had you heard anything about that?
Because the only thing is, normally, like at the Team Universe, they let you know right then. And like I said, I don't know if because it would be John Meadows who got second in the over 40. You know, would they give that to him? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Or are you talking about the overall?
Yeah, well, because he won the overall in the over 35, I'm assuming whoever got second place in the overall in the supers and over 40. I know there was some confusion. Yeah. Basically, for you guys who haven't followed it, in 2012, Dan Decker got his overall, or Dan Decker won his pro card, and they pulled him right away at the North Americans. He won his pro card in the Masters. I think he was a little upset because he wanted a shot at the overall in the Open. Yeah. And so last year at the North Americans, they flip-flopped some stuff, so I think they flip-flopped it here. So long story short, there's a lot of confusion.
Somebody else may get a pro card.
We don't know yet who's going to get a pro card. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Maybe it's John Meadows. But all in all, a great showing for all the bodybuilders, teen, collegiates, and all the masters here in Pittsburgh for 2014, as always. I know you're about ready to wrap things up for the night. Head on out. So we're going to call it a night, guys. So for David Baye and IFBB Pro Don Long, this is it. For MuscularDevelopment.com from the 2014 NPC Teen, Collegiate, and Masters National Championships.